Does dry shampoo cause hair loss? We're gonna look into it in this video. Hi everyone, my name is Helen. Welcome to the Shrimpy McGee channel. Here's a place where we talk about hair loss. I try out different shampoos for you guys, and I've been doing this for a while now, almost 3 years. This winter, it's gonna be 3 years. What I love about doing this is that I'm at the point now where my own circle of friends know that I make this kind of content, and when they see or hear about things, they send it to me. And this happened with, my mom and some other friends hearing about how COVID-19 has caused telogen effluvium in some people, and they let me know about it, and I was able to jump on and make a video about that. That video is doing really well. I will link it up for you guys. Hopefully you're not suffering from that, but if you are, I did make a video that's hopefully informative about that subject. But what happened to me is recently a friend of mine sent me this article about dry shampoo causing hair loss, and she said, this is not a new article, but she had it just sort of popped up in her feed somehow, and she sent it over to me to see if it was something that I was curious or wanted to make a video about it. And of course I did. What I always like to do is when I hear about these kind of things, if I haven't experienced it myself, I like to try and research it and present you guys with actual good opinions and doctors' opinions about these things. Although, of course, caveat, I am not a doctor or a physician. I'm just someone who has been in the hair loss community now for 3 years, and I'm very active there, and I, have my ear to the ground about what women are talking about. And it's so funny because my friend sent me this the same day I got a question from somebody in my Instagram DMs asking me what to do about using dry shampoo and Rogaine, like can you use them together? And the short answer to that, if you're curious, is you can, I think, sparingly. You don't want to just be like only washing your hair once every 7 days and then using dry shampoo all the other days of the week, because it absorbs. Like, that's what dry shampoo does. It absorbs stuff, and it will absorb the Rogaine that you're trying to, or the minoxidil that you're trying to put directly onto your scalp. So yes, you can use it, but my advice would be not to use it too much, if that makes sense. The very short answer though is you're probably wondering, okay, Helen, just get to the point. Does dry shampoo cause hair loss or does it not? And the answer is honestly, it's a bit complicated. Some doctors say no, it doesn't, and some say it could. There's nothing specifically in dry shampoo that is an ingredient that is known to cause hair loss, but we're gonna go through all of this now. I will link up that Atlantic article down below, and it is a few years old. It is not the newest, latest word on whether dry shampoo causes hair loss or not, but the science is there or it's not there, right? So have a look at that if you care about that. But I think that before we sort of get into this, we should talk about what dry shampoo is. It typically comes in 2 types, and it is not shampoo. So that's important to know. It is not something that actually cleans your hair. It doesn't. It absorbs oil from your scalp. And so it is typically either a powder formation, and that's the kind that I've used the most of in the past. I don't use it anymore. I used to use it when I had a beautiful, huge head of hair, and my hair's looking pretty good right now, but I had much, much, much more hair, in my previous life, let's just call it. And it comes in a spray, like an aerosol hairspray type can. Those are the 2 ways that it tends to be sold. I don't love the aerosol can. I never have, because it's the propellant and the stink of it usually is too much, and I am kind of sensitive to certain scents, even though I go on about how much I love certain shampoo smells. For me, that's a little bit different. I don't love a big puffy cloud of sort of dusty dry shampoo. That's just not for me. So I've stuck to the powder ones. I've used the Bumble and Bumble dry shampoo in the past because it had a really nice scent, but it was quite expensive. I've tried Batiste, just the regular ones. I've tried like a few different ones. I tried Dove dry shampoo, and I don't know if this one is still sold because this is years ago, and that was the one I hated. I actually returned it to the drugstore, which is something I don't do often for like inexpensive products, but that one was so stinky and so bad. There was like a plume around my head that just followed me all day long, and it stunk. I hated it. But basically what the active ingredients tend to be are absorbents. So that could be something cornstarchy, and some people do just use cornstarch. So that's like a natural way to use it if you want to do that. And someone with dark hair like mine use a mix of like cocoa powder, unsweetened obviously, and cornstarch for that darker look. And they just like sprinkle that liberally onto their head. I think silica is another ingredient. Listen, I'm not a product chemist, so I can't speak on any deep level about the actual chemicals or products that are in there. For the powder ones, they're usually some sort of cornstarchy feeling type product. And for the ones that are in a spray can, they too are they give you that powdery look, but they have a propellant in there that sprays out and coats your head and absorbs all that extra oil, or gives you more volume, or gives you a lift. You know, sometimes dry shampoos are actually just called volumizers, and also hairstylists like to use them sometimes if they're trying to do a particular style. For instance, like if you have like an elaborate braided style or an updo, when you have slippery, freshly washed hair, it doesn't have enough grip and texture in the hair itself to get some of those more volumized looks, or to get that nice looking braid. They will put a lot of dry shampoo into your hair. And then of course there's just people who don't want to wash their hair that frequently. That's the original use of dry shampoo. In a way, it's like, it's not shampoo. It's something that you just put in your hair so that you don't have to wash that morning. And haven't we all been there when you're just trying to get off to work and you're like, I don't have time to take that shower and to wash my hair. My hair takes personally forever to dry, even with a hair dryer, and sometimes I just don't have that kind of time. Back in the day when my kid was young and I was heading off to the office, I did use it. I did have to use it because there just wasn't enough time. We've all been there, right? And I'll talk about what I think about it. Does it actually cause hair loss? Like I said, it's complicated. Let's go into what the experts say. If you're liking this video so far, one way that you can help support me is to give me a like. So hit that like button and remember to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you want to take it a step further and it's not a financial hardship for you, I would really appreciate your support on Patreon, where my patrons help to support me make the content that you see on this channel, because I don't at present take sponsorships, because the ones I get are terrible. Like, it's never any good products that I would ever in a million years suggest to you guys. I get people in my emails asking me to shill for their products that I've never tried before, products that are supposed to target hair loss, and why would I do that? They won't even tell me half the time what the product actually is until they agree to doing it. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not gonna do a sponsorship and not know what the actual product is. That makes no sense. So one way you can help me avoid that nonsense is to support me over on Patreon, and it is $5 a month to get exclusive content. For instance, supporters already know about this dry shampoo stuff because I told them about it a while ago now in an exclusive post that I wrote just for them. Okay, so let's move on. So if you can support me, great. If not, that's cool too. I also have a link to just buy me a virtual coffee. If that's something you're interested in doing, you just use your PayPal account and you can send me like whatever tiny amount of money it is to buy me a virtual latte. And I won't spend that on lattes. What I do is I use that to buy products that I test here that are supposed to be targeted towards hair loss. On that note, I have some like videos about like mane and tail shampoo and like Olaplex shampoo. So I have a lot of shampoo videos as well if you're curious about those. Okay, on to what the experts say. It's a bit of a mixed bag. So that's the honest truth about it. You have dermatologists. I found actually one video about a dermatologist, I think in San Diego.
Yes. She actually went bald, and it was exactly because of using dry shampoo. Do we know if that's for sure?
No, we definitely don't know if that's for sure. In fact,
he says that he did like a short clip there. This is a couple years old as well, probably in response to maybe this Atlantic article. And this Atlantic article was kind of triggered by a Facebook post by a woman who showed a sort of substantial bald spot, saying that she thinks dry shampoo did this to her hair. So he came on to a local news station in San Diego talking about it, and his takeaway, you don't have to watch it, but his takeaway was, no, it doesn't. There's nothing in dry shampoo that can cause hair loss. What it can do is irritate your scalp.
Of a patient coming in where they've used dry shampoo and had any hair loss.
Basically because it can sort of damage the scalp, it can cause clogging issues, it can cause your hair to clump up, and basically it's not something you want to be using a lot of. And the experts, I don't think any of them said never use dry shampoo, but the consensus was like, maybe don't use it too much. And I think that that's advice that we can all get behind, right? Like, you just wash your hair. And that also goes for everything that I always say here. I have a video about how to wash your hair, and one of the things I always say when people ask is wash your hair more frequently. Like once a week, in my opinion, if you're asking me, is not enough. It's not nearly enough. You should be washing your hair every second or third day. Don't rely on that shampoo, that dry shampoo, unless you absolutely have to. A clean scalp generally is a healthier scalp. It's one that if you're using things like minoxidil or Rogaine, or if you're not, you might have dandruff issues and stuff like that, try just washing your hair a little bit more frequently. Use a moisturizing shampoo if your hair is more prone to dryness. That's a free, easy step. Just try that first before you try and use all these products to rectify your oily hair situation. Just try washing the oil. If you have oily skin on your face, sometimes you just you don't want to overwash it, but you do want to wash your face once or twice a day. No, so it's not that different for your hair. You have oily skin, you don't have oily skin. That's one of the points that one of the, I think, doctors in the Atlantic article is making. Like, if you have oily hair, you have oily hair. Just You can't really train it to be less oily. Just wash it more frequently. Bottom line, there's a bit of a mixed opinion on whether you should use dry shampoo. Is it safe or not? Generally, yes, there's nothing in it that causes hair loss, according to the doctors, but it is really just not the best to keep using very, very frequently instead of washing your hair. So that's sort of where we're at with the dry shampoo. Now, I took this to but then we have actual women's stories, which sometimes conflict with what dermatologists say. And I know that this is a huge source of frustration, and maybe why you're actually watching this video. People want to know what other women have experienced. So I'm going to tell you, I've read a lot of different stories, and I put some stuff up on my Instagram. I asked people if they use dry shampoo, very mixed opinion on whether they like it or not. I asked people about their experiences. Once again, very mixed opinion on whether they like it or not. A lot of women, well, a number of women said that they think it might have contributed to their hair loss issues. So that's not something to ignore. Over on a Facebook group that I belong to, one woman said, "What do you think about Batiste shampoo?" And another woman chimed in saying that she had used it just on the sides, like dry shampoo, and she had hair loss there in those particular spots where she was using it, and when she stopped, her hair grew back. I'm not trying to scare you, I'm just trying to tell you, yes, there are definitely anecdotes that exist where women say that it has caused hair loss, and so when women say that, I'm inclined to believe them. Not that I want to contradict what dermatologists and doctors are saying, but and they say causation is not correlation is not causation, so just because you use it doesn't mean that's the thing causing it. But on the other hand, how can we ignore it when women are like convinced that this is what happened? Like, I tend to believe women, they know their own bodies usually very, very well. And someone to say so specifically that that's where they were using it and that's where they got the hair loss, like that's a pretty specific claim. So I'm inclined to believe these women when they say this. And so, hear this advice and do what you will with it. But at least now you know the doctors say it's okay to use, but some women have complained that it has led to hair loss. I personally think you don't need dry shampoo if you want to use it once in a while because there's a specific look, or you got a beautiful blowout that's a special occasion and you want to make that last for a week, go ahead and use it. Like, I'm not going to tell you not to, but what it can do is what I've talked about. So I don't want to say use it at your own risk, and I don't want like Batiste and those kind of big companies to come after me, which I doubt they will. This is opinions that we're hearing from women and opinions that I'm explaining to you. I'm not a doctor, but this is not a medicine, so I feel pretty confident in saying, like, don't use so much of it. Just try cutting back. Try washing your hair. Like, try the easy things first. Just try washing your hair more often and see how that works for you, I think we get in a rut with using these products. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you to stop. So I'm here to tell you, just stop and try that for now. See how that goes. All right, everybody. That's all I had to say about the subject of dry shampoo. I hope that this helps you make a decision or maybe wash your hair more frequently. But one way or another, let me know your thoughts down below on what you think about dry shampoo. Love to hear from you. Thanks so much for spending your time with me, and we will see you soon.